All right, so this is my commentary or review on the Empowering Learners by the American Association of School Libraries. This is a really good, useful resource. I've been in 3 different libraries in the last couple of months, and every single one of the librarians had it on their desk. So I think it's something that I will continue to use, or at least they are using it. So I guess it shows it's not a dead book. It's an active living book. Um, all right. So the first point that I want to make, or the first observation I had, was this part about the 21st century learner. Um, One of my biggest concerns as a librarian is that we teach children to ethically use information, and I think that the ALA in general is behind this, but it's good to see that there's kind of an organization that's really focusing on how to teach it and how to organize it, and it's on page 11, and it talks about how um, students may lack the understanding of how to use information from the web ethically. I would say most students don't understand, and many adults don't understand how to use it ethically. And that would really be an important part of being a good librarian, is modeling and showing and teaching how to use information. Uh, I think one of the bigger issues that the current library and at my son's school has is that she's older, and she never had to cite a video, she never had to cite a photo, and she and I talked about it, how it's a challenge. Her days were citing articles or books, and now she has to show these different forms, and it's a challenge because they're not as easy to cite, and sometimes it's harder to find the trail, and there's just this ambiguity, as she put it, because you can't always say this photo was taken on this day and give this particular credit, but you want to instill this fair use idea with the kids, that it's important to find out as much as you can and to give the proper citation, because it's about being ethical, if nothing else. All right, so then the next thing that I put on here that I thought was really kind of interesting from this book was the survey of the role that the librarians have, of what they think they will be or won't be in the future, and that it has kind of a distinction between a teacher and an instructional partner. And that those are the two kind of #1 rankings. First, they right now they see themselves as teachers, and I would agree, because students come in and they don't know how to find something, so you teach them how to find something, or they know they're supposed to give proper citation and they don't know how to do that, or there's a lot of things that, or the technology. A lot of times kids don't know how to use the printer or whatever tool, and they come to you. So this is, I think, is a very important role. But the instructional partner, I think that's the other part that people are working on. They want to work with their staff and show them that if they work as a team, that the students will learn more, the teachers will be happier, more will get accomplished. I think this is the harder one to sell. A lot of teachers are resistant. They just don't want anyone else in their room showing them, what to do. They think they know. The next one would be um, assessing or addressing the multiple literacies section. Um, it's not enough to be able to read. It's unfortunate, I'm a reader. I've always been a reader. I somewhat was drawn into library science because I am a reader, but we don't live in a world where information just comes in text. Information comes in videos. Information comes in photos, in music. It's really important to be able to not only assess the information that you get, but create also in different forms. So I think that's going to be a really important challenge to being a good librarian, is using the different forms, but also teaching students to use the different forms. Now, the next part of me that was a little scared, I have to admit, was when I read the next part in here that was about building the learning environment, the guidelines. And under each one of these different guidelines is kind of like a breakdown of the expectations. If you read all of these and you think, can I do all of this? I mean, I had self doubt. I have to admit, I read this and I thought, this is a lot to do for one person. I guess I anticipate being a solo librarian because many of the librarians I observe at schools are solo librarians. And I think, wow, this is a lot. And then I keep thinking, no, what I have to focus on is what I believe is important, what I think the school needs, and prioritizing, and hoping and praying that I will have someone else to work with and that I can utilize the kids. I'm a big believer in having a student team that helps you with, the basic, putting shelving or potentially helping them learn how to make a Pathfinder, so then they're making a Pathfinder and you're not the one doing it. The sixth grade history class wants to make a Pathfinder on World War One. Okay, teach all of them how to do it for themselves, and then it's a collaborative project, and it isn't just me making the Pathfinder, which if I tried to do everything, I'd burn out, and that's one of the concerns I had in reading this. And I thought, I am going to have to be cautious. I'm going to have to be very careful, because if I try to do every single one of these guidelines, it could lead to that.